Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to unpack a psychological trap that is just incredibly common, yet almost nobody talks about it with the absolute honesty it deserves. We're talking about the illusion of success, specifically the really dangerous trap of fake success. Now, if you've ever felt that heavy pressure to keep up, or maybe you've wondered why making a bit more money hasn't magically given you peace of mind, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down exactly how to stop chasing validation and start building actual, tangible value.
I want to kick things off by holding up a bit of a harsh mirror to modern society. The source text puts it perfectly. Most people today are not trying to become successful, they are trying to look successful. This single profound mistake is silently destroying futures every single day. Think about it. We pour our energy, our time, and our hard-earned money into creating this shiny facade, while completely neglecting the actual foundation holding it up.
So, Section 1. The illusion of success, or how we end up trading our reality for mere appearance. We live in a world right now where looking the part has dangerously overpowered actually being the part. The metrics for success have totally shifted. It's less about what you have in the bank or the skills in your head, and way more about what you can project to everyone else. Let's look at the anatomy of this illusion. We're talking about the designer clothes, the absolute latest smartphones you upgrade every year, the luxury cafes, and those highly curated, completely fake social media lifestyles. Every single detail is meticulously designed to project a specific image, but the reality? People are literally swiping credit cards they can't pay off, going into serious debt, just to impress people who, frankly, don't even care. It's an addiction to looking rich instead of doing the really unglamorous work of actually building wealth.
So, the crucial point here is understanding the massive difference between these two concepts, attention versus reality. Your brain might trick you into believing that getting attention means you've achieved success, but attention is fleeting. It literally vanishes the second the timeline refreshes. Reality, on the other hand, is permanent. If you build your life based on attention, the whole thing can collapse overnight. But if you build a life grounded in reality, that sustains you.
Moving to Section 2, the psychology of approval. Let's look at exactly why we fall for this trap.
Look, if this is so incredibly destructive, why do we all do it? I want to be super empathetic here. Falling into this trap doesn't mean you're shallow. It actually just means you're human. There is a deep biological why driving this, and it boils down to social approval. Our brains have this baked-in evolutionary craving for acceptance. Historically speaking, if the tribe didn't notice you or accept you, you wouldn't survive. You literally needed that approval to live. And today, tech companies and social media platforms understand this biological urge perfectly. They exploit it. They constantly push these curated lifestyles designed to make totally normal, hardworking people feel like they are somehow falling behind.
And here is the truly scary fact. Society actively rewards this behavior. We naturally respect confidence, sleek style, and obvious status symbols, even when we know there might be absolutely nothing real behind them. Because society applauds the illusion, the cycle just gets reinforced. We get that quick little hit of dopamine when someone praises our new shoes or our new car, and it just cements the lie that looking good is the exact same thing as doing well.
This creates a massive split in how we spend our limited resources. Investing in validation means buying things just to feel important for a brief moment while staying deeply insecure underneath it all. Investing in growth, however, means putting your time, money, and energy into real skills, knowledge, and long-term development. One buys a really fleeting feeling, the other builds an unshakable foundation. Honestly, this right here explains why so many people stay financially stuck for years.
Which brings us to Section 3, the cycle of appearances. This is the exhausting loop we get stuck in.
Let's map out the grim emotional and financial toll this takes, because relying on this illusion builds a really vicious trap. Step 1, you log online, look around, and immediately feel behind. Step 2, to fix that awful feeling, you consume and you spend more. Step 3, you get a quick hit of temporary excitement from the new purchase or the social media likes. Step 4, the excitement fades and you feel entirely empty inside. So what do? You go right back to step 1. You keep consuming, spending, chasing, just hoping that one day you'll finally feel like you are enough. But spoiler alert, that feeling never comes from fake success.
It creates this tragic paradox in so many people's lives. You might actually be working hard. You might even see an increasing income. But simultaneously, you experience disappearing peace. Why? Because as your income grows, so does the scale of the image you feel you absolutely must maintain. and maintaining an image is just utterly exhausting. You're constantly comparing yourself, constantly feeling the pressure to keep up the charade. The ultimate danger here is that you're just performing for an audience. Slowly, almost without you noticing, your entire baseline for happiness becomes completely dependent on other people's opinions. And let me tell you, that is one of the most dangerous ways to live. When you live like this, you aren't building an actual life for yourself anymore. You're just acting in a play written by societal expectations. So let's talk about the solution in Section 4, Value over Validation. Time for a major mindset shift.
Breaking this cycle requires stepping completely off the stage and focusing on genuine value. Look at the stark contrast here, loud and broke versus quiet and successful. Here is a harsh but absolutely necessary truth from our source material. Truly successful people are very often the quietest people in the room. They are entirely too focused on building real value to waste their precious energy trying to prove themselves to complete strangers. Meanwhile, broke people often spend the most trying to look rich. If you don't break this mindset early on, you can literally spend your entire life chasing appearances while staying completely empty inside.
So we need to pivot. We need to completely rewrite the internal dialogue. You have to stop asking the world, how can I look successful? Scratch that entirely. Instead, ask yourself this single powerful question. How can I become valuable? What tangible skills can I learn? What real-world problems can I solve? How can I improve my actual lived reality rather than my projected image?
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why that pivot is so important. Look at how these two concepts behave over time. Value creates long-term respect, it builds wealth, it builds security, and it builds genuine, unbreakable self-esteem. Attention, on the other hand, disappears in seconds. It is a completely terrible investment vehicle for your life's energy. Remember this: value compounds, attention evaporates. I want to leave you with this final, deep, and admittedly pretty uncomfortable thought from today's explainer. Take a moment right now and ask yourself honestly, are you building your future, or are you just building an image for other people? Because your answer to that question is going to decide the entire direction of your life. Start focusing on reality instead of appearances. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep focusing on your real growth, and I'll see you next time.